Why? There's no reason. You just have to accept it. That's not an argument. That's just an assertion. It doesn't work. The idea of Kierkegaard and Decrees of "I think, therefore I am," the whole basis for our philosophy, for the way that we live our lives, works in the way we live our lives, because as much as we can observe as human beings, works for us, and that's how we observe and view our world.
I think the problem of knowing our own existence is an interesting philosophical problem that they're exploring, that many philosophers have explored. And I know I keep driving this home, but you notice they're not quoting scripture to explain how we know that we're real. They're quoting philosophy that sounds much more like the Greeks that came hundreds of years before Jesus. Why? Because the Bible is unreliable. It's unclear. It doesn't provide us with a framework for understanding our world. It's insufficient for understanding nature, whether in science or morality or our existence in philosophy. We have to supplement it with all these other ways of trying to make it make sense, like this book that's chock full of all the apparent contradictions and inconsistencies and historical inaccuracies. How can we make these squares fit in the circle? Well, we'll do everything we can do because we believe in God.
Are you able to address the opening statements made by the atheists about the non-reliability of the Bible's textual basis, the existence of Jesus, the talking snake, the donkey, people living to be hundreds of years old?
Yes.
I think they would follow, can you do that now?
No. How many people came here for a Bible study? We're not here for a Bible study. We can explain these things. We can explain all these things. We can sit down, we can discuss it. But that's not the point. Because we're going to give an explanation. They're going to say, well, that's ridiculous. They're going to say that's ridiculous based on their presupposition. The question isn't whether one of us can explain it or whether the other one can explain it according to the worldview. The question is, why don't they make sense in the atheist worldview? Keep that in mind. When they say that something is illogical, they're appealing to absolute laws of logic. Don't forget that. They say we don't have to be logical. I can give them an answer. The purple penguin weighs Friday, therefore the much. That's my answer, if we can be illogical, but we can. They want us to be illogical because they believe in the God of Scripture who demands us to be logical. It says in Isaiah 1:18, "Come, let us reason together." We're supposed to be logical. We have a reason to be logical. But do they know? They have no objection to Scripture. We can talk about that if you want to come to the Bible study. Fine, we'll talk about it, how we resolve that. But folks, that is not the issue here tonight. That's why we don't talk about it.
One of the things that you'll hear is this idea that Jesus Christ was a myth, and it's the Christ myth theory. What they'll say is things like this: Addis was born of a virgin on December 25th, was crucified, dead, buried, resurrected. Krishna, born of a virgin with a star in the east to signal his birth, performed miracles, died, and was resurrected. Dionysus, born of a virgin on December 25th, performed miracles like turning water into wine, was referred to as the King of Kings and God's only begotten Son, died and was resurrected. Mithras, born of a virgin on December 25th, had 12 disciples, performed miracles, was dead for 3 days and resurrected, was known as the truth and the life, and was worshipped on Sunday. That's what you're going to hear in some of your world religion classes here. Listen to this. There is no record that Osiris rose bodily from the dead. Instead, he became the god of the netherworld. As one put it, Osiris is not a dying god, but a dead god, always depicted as deceased, a deceased mummified king. Now, his dead body, admittedly in that text, is laid in the tomb. If you want to call that a bodily resurrection, have at it. Horus was not born of a virgin, but was the son of Osiris and Isis, not married. Horus never dies, so he can have no resurrection. Neither the Bible nor Christianity claims that Jesus was born, at least original early Christianity claims that Jesus was born on December 25th, so parallels with ancient myths are inconsequential. Mithra was not born of a virgin. He did not have 12 disciples. There is no textual evidence of his death, and there could be no resurrection. The Christ myth is just that. It's just a myth. I've got page after page after page that gives historical, archaeological evidence refuting every single one of those claims. The reason why we didn't address them tonight is because they're not going to accept the answer. They're going to read the answer through their presuppositions.
Thank you.
There are more answers to come. While this last question demands a longer answer, so does this one. If man has the right to live by his own law, then why do we have laws given to people? Why would you punish someone for living who they are? Those will be answered, and the remaining questions will be answered on hopefully both of the websites. At least a link will be provided to graysonandthetriad.blogspot.com. All right, thank you. Shepard's Fellowship broadcasts a live stream on the Lord's Day and on Wednesday nights at graceandthetriad.com. UNCG Atheists meet, thank you, UNCG Atheists meet every Friday, with the exception of this coming Friday, in the Phillips room. Thank you very much. Good night. Thanks for coming out.